is truly such a remarkably accurate specimen that demonstrates so clearly why the Young Turks are often disparaged by so many pundits for being intellectually dishonest. Yes, the Young Turks, the group that champions as those who welcome honest discussion, while in practice, routinely shut down guests that have any slightly unpalatable viewpoint.
We want the middle class.
No, you guys don't get it. I'm done with him. He's done. Move away from him. Okay, bring him down. He won't shut up, okay, and he doesn't listen to facts.
Now, this video could go on for hours if I was to compile and analyze all the instances where Anna and Cenk leave the world of a reasonable discussion.
Whoa. Okay. We're trying to have a reasonable discussion.
Traverse into the void of virtue signaling, race baiting, and ultimately shutting down any shred of honest political discourse. And at some point, I probably will make an all-encompassing video documenting the leftist echo chamber that is the Young Turks. But for now, let's take a closer look at the way John Iadarola and Anna Kasparian handle even the slightest hint of a non-circumlocutory comment.
But I do want to go to Brett in the audience. Let's find out from students. That was a nice conciliatory, sort of unifying message that I don't buy for 1 second. What do students think?
The most telling moment for me is when he translates his own speech. He's like, we gotta bind the wounds of democracy. We gotta come together. It's like, did you, just so you didn't understand it? Anyways, have it. It's like, did you understand it? Anyways.
It's like, did you, just so you didn't understand it? Anyway.
Right from the start, you can see how controlled this environment is. If we were to compare the way the Young Turks take comments or questions and the way someone like Ben Shapiro takes comments and questions.
Hi, howdy. Fact number 1. Transgender is not a disease. This is not my opinion. This is facts from the World Health Organization and the American Psychologists Association. Just like gay people don't have a disease. Fact number 2. Rich kids stay rich, poor kids stay poor. Out of 1,800 billionaires in the world, 12 of them are black. Where you come from, where you grow up, how much your parents earn, whether your parents were married plays a major role in determining your life market. Fact number 3. I would just like to remind you that hate speech is not free speech.
Yes, it is.
And my question is, since facts don't care about your feelings, why did you use false facts?
Okay, so none of the facts that I used are false. First of all, yes. No, okay, first of all, would you like the answer? Okay, so...
You'd see a stark contrast. The difference, of course, is someone like Ben Shapiro doesn't have a hired goon pandering to everyone's biases.
We gotta come together. It's like, did you, just so you didn't understand it? Anyways.
Controlling the course of the conversation.
Oh, so you have a question. All right, my question for you is more...
And walking around with a mic to make sure they can pull that mic on whoever's talking as soon as they say something even remotely unpalatable around their audience. And this is actually precisely what happens further along in the video.
And have done much worse, such as the Young Turks.
Even an extraordinarily partisan alt-righter like Milo allows dissenters to finish their spiel so he can address it, even if, he's addressed it a million times before, or even if the comment or spiel is particularly moronic. Any reasonable person can begin to realize who truly believes in an open, free discussion, and odds are it ain't the Young Turks.
Let's have some students chime in. Yeah. You want to give us your feelings on the election? Have a stand up.
Notice the way he frames the question. In nearly a parody of the left, he asks what his feelings are, as if feelings are even in the slightest degree relevant in a political discussion.
What's your name? Where are you from?
Vaughn, Los Angeles.
Yeah, let's hear it for Vaughn from Los Angeles. You go to CSUN?
Yeah.
CSUN student, what year?
Second
year, sophomore. A wise fool, aren't we all?
Texting in the middle of the interview.
I seriously don't understand why this guy is being so unbelievably condescending and rude to this student. And then I think John is the one who says
texting in the middle of the interview.
He was texting during the middle of the interview, Snapchatting. It's just incredible to see the traits of a narcissist exhibited so plainly and uninhibited. I mean, this guy was seriously keeping tabs on everyone in his audience to make sure they were giving him their complete, undying adoration, and this audience member was not doing just that, so John singled him out and made sure everyone knew that this guy was uninterested in the little charade and not part of the group. Unfortunately for John, it was revealed literally 2 seconds later that the guy was writing down his question. How dare he take the time to succinctly write his question down in order not to stumble through it?
Snapping.
Oh, so you have a question?
This hired goon looks so shocked that this guy has a question. I mean, look at it. Like, seriously, this audience member doesn't just want to make a comment that will, make everyone laugh in agreement and cause everyone to feel nice and virtuous inside. It's almost as if this hired goon is afraid of a reasonable and honest discussion.
All right.
These people are genuinely so afraid of anyone questioning their beliefs. It's genuinely sad. Like, I seriously feel bad for them.
My question for you is more, How do you
Feel
about all the stuff that Trump said during the election, during the running for the election? And
are you afraid of it?
how do you feel about all the stuff that he said? And
How do you feel though? Are you afraid though? Are you terrified of the Orange Menace? Come on, you're afraid, aren't you? Come on, you're afraid, right?
I actually want to touch upon
And this is why they have hired a goon to make sure to pull the mic whenever anything slightly controversial comes up.
I actually want to touch upon like the kind of immigration and that kind of sentiment on it. So the rise in anti-immigrant sentiment, that's pretty much, it's raised fear amongst our communities and things like that. It brings back memories and history. So of other leaders, of other groups, people that have rose to power and have done much worse, such as the Young Turks. So, which is
very interesting. I'm sure it would be
Interesting.
very entertaining.
No.
Which is very interesting. I'm sure it would be
Interesting.
very entertaining. But we
So
do want to
let's-
focus on the
I
election.
actually do want to quickly respond to that because I think it's an interesting concern.
Interesting. Have a seat. Have a seat.
No,
So
it's
he
okay.
brought up a question. And
So
Anna's
we
gonna answer.
worked really hard on this episode and Mora Sosterra.
At least Anna tried.
All right.
Okay.
So we're going to take a quick break.
Cut to
When we
break.
come
Quick
back,
break,
we'll have
come
more.
back.
We'll have more questions from the audience, from actual students, after we come back from this.
What made him think that this was not an actual student? Because he didn't just blindly follow the Young Turks like most millennials nowadays? Actually, yeah, that does actually make sense.
Welcome back to the Young Turks on Fusion. I'm Anna Kasparian, a proud Armenian, about to talk about the